Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure, all Bookmap Ltd materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. The best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also on Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and the topics of the channel that I'll go through in just a moment. I'm also on X, formerly known as Twitter. My name there is @DougPless. Here are the key tenets to my approach for trading. This is the basis of my approach to trading. I believe that options trades and market maker hedging activity are key drivers of price in many stocks and futures, and certainly the large cap tech stocks like the Mag 7 stocks, as well as equity index futures like the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. And for the S&P 500, SPX is the underlying index. ES, the ES contract, futures contract, is a derivative of SPX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in SPX and SPY, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with ES futures. And for the NASDAQ 100, NDX is the underlying index. QQQ is the much more liquid ETF version of that index, and the NQ futures contract is a derivative of NDX. And again, when traders buy and sell puts and calls in NDX and QQQ, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with NQ futures. The focus of my presentation and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis, and for setups for entries and exits. And when I talk about setups today, I will be focusing on an underlying asset, and setups in that asset can be taken with futures contracts, shares of stock, or options, depending on the underlying asset. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel and Discord, as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions and comments. Please feel free to post. I'll do my best to answer your questions. Here's my agenda for today. First of all, Wednesday, June 5th. I want to go over news items, economic data, and events for today as well as the rest of the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups from earlier today, and then I'll take a look at the live market. And when I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know, and I'll be glad to do that. All right, let's get started with economic data. First of all, the ISM Services PMI came out at 10 a.m. today, and that was greater than expected, greater than the previous number, and also greater than 50, indicating expansion. We'll take a look at the reaction to that data in just a moment. And then on Friday, the big data release for the week is the jobs report at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. All right, that's the news. Let's move on to positional analysis now. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. This is the ES futures in Bookmap. And this was the initial reaction to the services PMI data. A quick move lower. S&P 500 found support right around the SPY 529 level, as well as the SPX 5300 absolute gamma strike. And more about those levels in just a moment. All right, so that was the reaction to the news. Again, this is the S&P 500 futures and Bookmap. And before I take a closer look at this chart, I do want to take a look at a higher time frame. And let's take a look at the SPX, the underlying index. I'll go through this quickly. We've all seen this chart before. This is a one-day chart. One-day chart for SPX. Here's the rally that began last year, October 30th. Correction began April 1st, 1st of April. And then the rally resumed the Monday after the April options expiration. That was April 19th, Friday 19th, options expiration, and then 4/22, the Monday after the rally resumed. All right, let's pick up the current price action with a 1-hour chart. So again, this is SPX, 30-day 1-hour chart. And note this down move began with some concern about interest rates. SPX found support just below the 5,200 level and now is trading near all-time highs. Could reach that today. All right, let's take a look at the levels on this chart. First, the dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. That's based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX from last Friday. It looks like SPX is almost up to the upper weekly expected move. The dashed blue lines are showing the lower and upper daily expected move. Also based on the options market, that's based on the closing price for SPX from yesterday. Note I post those levels in Discord every evening the day before. All right, so SPX trading up close to the upper weekly expected move and above the upper daily expected move. All right, let's take a look at the other levels on this chart. These are Spotgamma levels. These are based on gamma-weighted open interest. They're provided to Spotgamma subscribers. They're available on a variety of trading platforms. Again, this is Thinkorswim. I'm going to point out the key daily levels. First of all, the put wall is at 5,200. That's the strike with the largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. The next level up is 5,270. That is the volatility trigger. That is Spotgamma's proprietary volatility flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure. That tends to enhance or increase volatility. Above that level, like SPX is trading now, market makers' position on the gamma curve is positive. In a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure. That tends to subdue or decrease volatility. And just above that, at 5,300, that's the absolute gamma strike. That's a strike with the largest absolute positive and negative gamma. That's where most of the gamma-weighted open interest is concentrated. And then finally, the call wall is at 5,400. That's a strike with the largest net positive gamma that can be expected to act as resistance. And that would be the next major target above. All right, that is SPX in a 1-hour chart. Let's wrap up our view of SPX with a 1-minute chart. So what this chart is showing is price action beginning last Friday. That's shown in this dark shaded portion on the left. And this is I want to point out this repeating pattern of a move lower in the morning. And note that on Friday, SPX did trade down below the 5200 level and recovered this midday dip that has repeated the last 3 days, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. And then there was a midday dip today, but that was more of a morning dip down to 5300. All right, so repeating pattern more or less for the last 4 days. Here's SPX now, again, finding support at the 5300 level. Trading up above the upper daily expected move and bumping up against the upper weekly expected move at 53.39. All right, let's go to Bookmap now. So in Bookmap, I have my own cloud notes, so I can show SPX levels. There's that 5350 level up above. Here's the 5300 level that I pointed out before, acting as support. Also have SPY levels on this chart. SPY 529, again, acting as support. After the data release, here's the SPY 530 absolute gamma strike. And then I also have key levels for ES. There's the upper daily expected move. ES trading above that, and the upper weekly expected move above. So I do calculate the expected moves for ES independently of SPX. Right now, there is a difference in price between ES and SPX. Right now, it's about 12. So I'm showing SPX 5300 at ES 5312. So the offset is 12 points. And I do post those index relationships that I'm using every day in Discord. All right, so that's the SP 500. We'll talk about setups in a few minutes. So right now it looks like the SPY 533 and the ES 5350 level may be acting as resistance. We'll see what options traders are doing in just a minute when we start take a look at setups. All right, let's move on to NASDAQ. Take a quick look at the levels in play. So this is the NQ futures and Bookmap. We'll take a look at the key support and resistance levels. So again, this is the NQ futures and Bookmap. And let's take a quick look at the underlying index component charts. We'll start with QQQ. And note support earlier today in between these two levels. And let's see, 455 is a large gamma 2. And then that 434, 454, 34 is a combo level. Then after the cash open, shown on the dark shaded portion to the right, the 457 level acted as support. That's the reaction to the 10 a.m. data, PMI data. Note this 460 level. That was noted as resistance in the Spotgamma AM Founders Note. Acted as resistance, then support. Now price trading up to the 462 level. So the Spotgamma levels are shown in red, and just the round number levels are shown with yellow dash lines. All right, so that's QQQ. Again, rally began well before the cash open. That's around 3 a.m. All right, let's take a look at NDX. Only level in play is this combo 4 level. Resistance then price move higher, brief consolidation below that level. So that's a combo 4 level combining QQQ and NDX, gamma weighted open interest into one combined level. All right, let's talk about shifts in levels. So I forgot to mention SPY, both the volatility trigger and call wall moved higher. And then for NDX, the volatility trigger moved higher and the put wall moved lower. And there were no shifts in levels for QQQ. So really kind of minor shifts in levels for both the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. All right, let's go back to Bookmap. NQ futures. Support this morning just after the data release. That is the NQ 18,800 level, as well as the QQQ 457 level. NQ is trading well above its upper daily expected move, shown here in blue. And there's this combo level, NDX combo level that I mentioned before, as well as the QQQ 460 large gamma 3 level. Now it looks like NASDAQ may be approaching this cluster of levels up above. That is NDX 19,000 large gamma 4, and then the NQ 19,050 and 463 QQQ just above that. All right, again, we'll take a look at setups in a few minutes. All right, so those levels in play, the key support and resistance levels for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ so far. All right, let's wrap up our positional analysis. Again, there were minor shifts in levels. My thesis for the day as far as directional bias goes was slightly bullish, neutral to bullish, really based on the shifts higher for SPY. All right, again, let's wrap up positional analysis by taking a look at gamma notional, market maker's position on the gamma curve. This is market maker's position on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day. I like to take a look at this to get an idea of potential volatility and trading range for the day. And this is gamma notional, again, market maker's position on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day for the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. Mainly neutral for these numbers, slightly positive for SPX, indicating in this position, traders are short calls, market makers long calls, hence the positive gamma, and they have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure. And just kind of the opposite for SPY. In this position, slightly negative. This indicates traders are long puts, market makers are short puts, hence the negative gamma, and they have to trade with price. So price trading well above volatility triggers now, definitely on positive gamma, and somewhat neutral for the NASDAQ as well. All right, so that wraps up my positional analysis. We've seen the key support and resistance levels so far, or definitely the support levels anyway. All right, let's move on now and take a look at setups. Take a look at what traders are doing. I'm going to start, as always, by taking a look at what options traders are doing today. This is the Hero signal in Bookmap. So the levels that we just took a look at, they're based on static data, open interest data that's updated once a day, that's updated sometime during the night. Spotgamma takes that open interest data, applies their algorithms to that data to come up with the levels that I show on my charts. So now let's move on to real-time data. Again, let's take a look at what options traders are doing. I'm going to start with the SP 500. This is the Hero signal, HIRO, Hedging Impact Real-Time Options. So we're moving on to execution now. And for the SP 500, there are two signals that we can take a look at. This is the signal, I guess the original signal for the SP 500. What this chart is showing is options trades and market maker hedging activity for a combined signal of SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures. There are two lines on this chart. The white line is the price for SPX, and the purple line is the Hero signal. Again, that's hedging impact real-time options, showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for a combined signal of those instruments. A falling Hero signal indicates traders are taking negative delta options positions. They are buying puts and or selling calls. A rising Hero signal indicates they are buying calls and or selling puts. All right, so a pretty choppy signal for this combined signal. I'm going to zoom in on this chart. And let's take a look at the morning. So just taking a look at this first hour of trading in isolation, this Hero signal does provide a pretty good signal for a long entry. So this flow alert indicates significant options activity that comes right before a key level that you expect to act as support. And as price reaches down to that level, options traders started taking positive delta positions. So price reverses it at that level as options traders started taking positive delta positions. And we'll take a look at Bookmap in just a moment. So flow alert, signaling potential reversal, key gamma strike support, Hero signal shifts bullish. That's your signal for a long entry. All right, let's take a look now at this other Hero signal. It's painting a different picture today. Let me show you what this is. This is a newer Hero signal for the SP 500. This is showing an aggregate signal of options trades and market maker hedging activity for all 500 stocks in the SP 500. All right, let's zoom back in on this chart. All right, one thing I want to do, I'm going to shift to take a look at puts and calls separately. I'm going to have to zoom. All right, so this shows I'm going back to the SP 500 signal. Traders are buying calls. They're also buying puts. Now let's take a look at the SP equities Hero signal for the SP 500. Paints a different picture again. Traders are buying calls. That's shown by the rising orange line. When traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls, and they have to buy stock in this case to hedge their delta exposure, and they're also selling puts. That's shown by the rising blue line. Both lines are rising. Those are positive delta. That's positive delta. Again, they're buying calls and selling puts. Blue line, orange line moving the same direction, and that is very bullish. And this is the signal that we'll take a look at now. So let's zoom in on the morning. And unlike the S&P 500 signal, this was bullish from the open for both calls and puts. All right, so let's go take a look at Bookmap now. Let's zoom in. See where this uptrend began. All right, so we know that options traders started taking positive delta positions right around 10:10. Price was moving down toward a key support level or levels, 5,300 and 529. The volume dots in Bookmap are showing market buy minus sell. Magenta dots indicate more sellers than buyers. Green volume dots indicate more buyers than sellers. Noted the sellers became exhausted right at 529. Then as price started to move higher, aggressive buyers joined. Also, large traders joined with iceberg orders. They used to hide their size. So the iceberg subchart indicator, rising light blue line, indicates again large traders buying with iceberg orders. Cumulative volume delta is shown by this dark blue line. That was rising. And then also the yellow line showing stop orders, also rising. So that is showing buy stop orders helping to fuel that move higher. So traders were taking positive delta positions in both the S&P 500 components as well as the S&P 500 equity components. Large traders buying, aggressive buyers buying, and buy stop orders fueling the move higher. So very bullish move in the S&P 500 and a reversal at a key support level. And the rally continues. And we'll take a look at the live market in a few minutes. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. So let's go back to Hero. So just like the S&P 500, there are two Hero signals that we can use for NASDAQ. This is the original. And this is, there's a little bit of a glitch right at the opening. So what this is showing, pretty similar to the S&P 500 signal for NASDAQ. And this is a combined signal for NDX and QQQ, showing traders are buying calls and buying puts. And in this case, call buyers are definitely in charge. Call buyers shown by the rising orange line, and put buyers shown by the falling blue line, also the negative notional value. But definitely call buyers in charge today. All right, so that's the traditional NASDAQ signal. Let's zoom in. Not as much clarity from this chart. Let's go back to the total signal. So you can see in the total signal that this was started rising just after the cash open. All right, let's go to the Mag 7 signal. What this is showing, let me zoom out. This is showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for the stocks known as the Magnificent Seven: Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla. Note there's often a very strong similarity between the Mag 7 signal and the SB equity signal, which is really just the Mag 7 plus 493. All right, let's zoom back in on this chart. Go back to puts and calls. I'm going to have to jump back to avoid the auto zoom. And this shows options traders buying calls and selling puts from the open. A little bit of hesitation or consolidation just before and after the data release. And then right around 10:20, they resume buying calls again. Orange line, blue line moving in the same direction. Very bullish directional indicator. Let's go take a look at NASDAQ. Here's the reaction at the 10 a.m. data release. support at the 18,800 level, NQ as well as the QQQ 457 level. Volume dot shift to positive. No, that's around 1020 when traders start aggressively buying calls again. Green volume dots, price moves up. Cumulative volume delta rising. Yellow line buy stop orders fueling the move higher. And those lines continue to move higher. All right, let's go back to Hero. All right, one thing I want to do is take a look at the major underlying component of this Mag 7, which is the NVIDIA signal. And I think this makes up a pretty large component of the Mag 7 signal. We'll take a closer look at this in just a minute. Note today that semiconductor stocks were really strong. We'll start with AMD. So this is AMD. Pretty typical pattern for many stocks. Traders aggressively buying calls from the open. Note the put line is pretty much flat. Traders aggressively buying calls. And right around 1035, they take their foot off the gas and price consolidates. So again, call buyers aggressively buying calls in the morning, driving price higher. When traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls, and they have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. So let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to AMD. Sharp move higher at the open. Break above VWAP. That's shown by the light blue line just after the open. Aggressive buyers. You can see all the green volume dots. Rising cumulative volume delta. These levels of liquidity, these above price, these are limit sell orders in Bookmap, tend to act as a magnet for price. Note here at 164 and 165, showing more orders came in at the cash open. Oops. And then price reversed right at this 167 level. It looks like some of the limit sell orders at that level were consumed. They came in right in. More sell orders as AMD moved lower. So traders took their foot off the gas, call buyers, just after 1030, and price now consolidating, moving slightly lower. All right, so that's AMD. All right, let me check for questions. Lunar Competitions says, Doug, I've noticed the NQ and ES literally mirror their indices. If you check the NDX or SPX, it basically controls the future derivative due to R bots. Spotgamma is better than order flow, in my opinion. I look at order flow and hedging flow with Spotgamma, and Spotgamma for my levels. And yeah, you're making the point that I've made for years, that I'm looking at the underlying index components. So that's why in my positional analysis, I look at SPX, and I do look at SPY, and I mark those levels on my ES chart, and I look at QQQ and NDX, and mark those levels on my NQ chart. So yeah, the underlying index components are in control. And as I said in my introduction, ES is a derivative of SPX and NQ is a derivative of NDX. So if you want to trade spot, though, you cannot trade SPX or NDX. You have to trade ES or SPY, or in the case of NASDAQ, NQ futures or QQQ if you want to trade spot instead of options. All right, thanks for your comment. All right, so again, semiconductors very strong today. We'll take a closer look at NVIDIA in just a minute. The next is ARM. Very strong day in ARM. Let's see what options traders are doing. Let's go to ARM Holdings. And also lunar competitions. Those index relationships change a little bit every day, and I do post those in Discord. All right, very similar to AMD. Aggressive call buyers in the morning. Traders are selling puts as well, but call buyers definitely in charge. Price initially finds a little bit of resistance at the 130 call wall. Moves a little bit lower, finds support there, moves higher. Then right around 1025, 1030, call buyers take the foot off the gas and ARM consolidates. All right, let's go back to Bookmap. So now call buyers are coming back in and price is starting to move higher. Note all the green volume dots. Price trading above VWAP. Aggressive buyers shown by the green volume dots. And the rising cumulative volume delta. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. Let's take a closer look at this. So as I zoom in, you can see the pullback entries a little bit more clearly. This first pullback, or actually second pullback, almost to VWAP. There's a brief flash. This is the market pulse price change indicator shown here in Bookmap. And these extreme points often, not always, but often mark good pullback entries for longs. Sometimes this, in this case, coming a little bit before this pullback. So again, as I zoom in, you can see the pullback entries. There's the initial resistance. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. So here's the initial resistance at the 130 call wall. Then price breaks above. So when a stock moves above a call wall, that's where a lot of the calls are concentrated. Remember, for a stock, Spotgamma assumes that traders are long calls, market goes short calls. As price moves up above that call wall level, those calls are that market makers are short go deeper in the money. Their delta exposure becomes more negative, and they have to continue to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. So aggressive buyers and also call buyers driving ARM higher today. All right, the next stock, we'll take a brief detour from semiconductor stocks. We'll take a look at CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike, again, reported earnings after the close yesterday. Let me check something. So right now, CrowdStrike is trading up about 11% today. All right, so there was a move lower, a lot of aggressive sellers, and then we'll see what options traders are doing. Let's go take a look at Hero for CrowdStrike. Let's zoom in on this. So we're after a sharp move higher, call buyers in the first 5 minutes. They start selling calls, and CrowdStrike moves lower, finds support right around 316, and traders resume buying calls. They're also selling puts. And that was right around 10:10, 10:15. So after that quick move lower, traders resume buying calls. They're also selling puts. Rising orange line, rising blue line. Very powerful directional indicator, in this case bullish. After that initial move lower. Let's zoom in again. Pullback entries. Tone down the volume dots just a little bit. So in my mind, kind of the only negative for a long entry here would be the falling cumulative volume delta. And there are certainly a lot of magenta volume dots, even as price is moving up, indicating the importance of the call buyers and put sellers driving price today. Deep pullback entries marked by the extremes in the market pulse change indicator. All right, let's move on. Now back to NVIDIA. So an incredibly bullish day here in NVIDIA. And in contrast to CrowdStrike, there are a lot of aggressive buyers here in NVIDIA. All right, let's start by taking a look at what options traders are doing in NVIDIA. They're buying calls and selling puts. Zoom in on this. The floor alert that comes in right after the cash open, indicating significant options activity, and traders were aggressively buying calls and selling puts. Again, orange line, blue line moving in the same direction. Very powerful directional indicator. Note 1200 is the call wall key gamma strike. There was quite a bit of consolidation at that level. Let's zoom in on the afternoon price action. Note the gradually rising orange line. Traders buying calls. Looks like kind of a large block order there, and price jumps higher, breaks above the 1200 call wall. Again, same dynamic with a call wall. Market makers are short those calls, and as price moves higher, their delta exposure is becoming more negative. They have to continue to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. All right, let's go to Bookmap. Here's the 1200 key wall gamma strike, call wall key gamma strike. And there was consolidation just below that level for a little over 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours. And price breaks sharply higher as that large block order to buy calls came in and aggressive buyers came in. So this one definitely checks all the boxes for a long entry today. Initial price target at 1200. Note the high liquidity at that level, a lot of limit sell orders. They were finally consumed. Rising cumulative volume delta. Price trades above VWAP. There's a pullback to VWAP. And for NVIDIA, this market pulse price change indicator does an excellent job of marking the pullback entries. Pullback entries here and here. After the break above 1200, the next pullback entry. And NVIDIA continues to move higher. And just for anyone who may not be aware, NVIDIA does split 10 for 1 on Friday. All right, that's NVIDIA. Let's take a look at Tesla. After a sharp move lower in the morning, Tesla reversed higher. Pretty similar chart to CrowdStrike. Cumulative volume delta. Still negative, a lot of magenta volume dots. Let's see what options traders are doing. Go back to Hero. Go to Tesla. Zoom in. So Tesla reverses just after the open, right around the 175 hedge wall. Flow alert comes in, signaling significant options activity. The Hero signal quickly moves down, levels off, and then right around 10:10, 10:15, traders start selling puts and buying calls. Orange line, blue line moving in the same direction, and options traders driving price higher for Tesla. Let's zoom out now. All right, so it looks like Tesla moved right back up to the 175 hedge wall. Found resistance there a couple of times, then broke above, and now consolidating right around that level. Let's go take a look in Bookmap. So there's the 175 hedge wall. Whoops. 175 hedge wall, resistance, price broke above, then support, now consolidating just below that level. All right, does anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? Please let me know and I'll be glad to do that. All right, let's do a quick check on the S&P 500. Continues to grind higher. NASDAQ consolidating right around the QQQ 462 level. Looks like it's been around that level for over an hour. All right, let's go back to Hero. See if there are any recent alerts. All right, this is kind of an expanded watch list here. I don't have Costco in Bookmap, but this is showing Costco. The call wall at 8:30. Costco broke below that level, and now right around 10, call line, blue line, and put line moving the same direction, back up to the 8:30 call wall. All right, again, does anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? Let's take a look at the SP 500. There's a flow alert there. Note all these flow alerts that come close together. That indicates consolidation or choppy price action when multiple flow are shifting between positive and negative delta. So just consolidation for the SP 500. Let's check. Let's zoom in on this. So right now it looks like the call line is leveling off just a bit. Let's go to NASDAQ. Same thing, call line flat. So options traders are, they're just holding on. They're not selling, not taking profits, just holding on at this point. Check Mag 7. Katinga asked, hello, welcome, glad you're here. How often is the squeeze scanner updated? You would have to ask Spotgamma. I believe it's once a day, but I would send a question to info@spotgamma.com to confirm that. So let's take a look at that. So if you're looking for stocks to trade, this is a great way to do this. This is an indication of, this again is the squeeze scanner. Looking for stocks with potential to move higher. All right, so there's CrowdStrike on the squeeze scanner. Dell, Snowflake, and then some other smaller stocks. All right, Abu asked, well, hello, welcome, glad you're here. Can you look at NQ and see what traders are doing now? All right, so I just did. We can, he's also, he or she also says, thanks for all the info. And thanks for all the info you provided. You're very welcome. Glad you're here. All right, so we'll go back and take a look at NASDAQ. So again, NASDAQ. Go to the Mag 7. Appears to be consolidating right now. NASDAQ signal also consolidating. Let's go to Bookmap. So back to NASDAQ again. Chop around the NQ 19,000 and QQQ 462 level for almost 2.5 hours. Oh, Abu he, okay. You're welcome. All right, so there's NASDAQ. Not much going on now. Again, traders, it looks like, are content to hold positions and are not not moving price higher or taking profits at this point. Maybe not quite the same for S&P 500. It looks like it continues to grind higher. Let's go take a look at Hero. Let's zoom back in. Go into S&P equities. Still a call line. Call line looks like it's flattening out a bit. Go to S&P 500 signal. Moving a little bit lower, maybe trying to move higher now. Looks like some put sellers also coming in. Let's check on NVIDIA. So it looks like NVIDIA is consolidating right around the 1215 level. Zoom in. Let's take a close look at this market pulse price change indicator in the subchart. Provides great signals for many stocks, certainly for NVIDIA here. Let's take a look at this. Price change extreme, noted by the dark red. And note how the price change, market pulse price change, starts to increase before NVIDIA reverses right at 1205. Pretty similar here. Extremes, price change starts to rise. Another pullback entry, in this case below 1210. Then another pullback entry at 1210. IcoJed asks, what metric on the squeeze scanner most shows that it is squeezing? Gamma ratio, I think, well, certainly you would have to ask Spotgamma that. I don't think they've made that publicly known. I believe Brent has discussed that in subscriber Q&A webinars, and I don't recall exactly. So there are a variety of factors that go into that squeeze scanner. Just send an email to info@spotgamma.com. All right, Lunar Competition says it's crazy that just 10 stocks on the NDX control 50% plus of the total derived value. Do you think it is a bubble? That is not, I guess, kind of beyond the scope of what I typically talk about in this webinar. I typically talk about what's happening today. So far, no indication that of any bubble. These stocks continue to be, traders continue to buy them. I'm a programmer, and I think Amazon has a better fighting chance than NVIDIA long term. That I can't say. This is that would go into more long-term fundamental analysis, which again is beyond what I'm talking about today. I'm a little bit more short-term trader. All right, everyone, my time is up. I want to thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your questions and comments. And I will see you on Friday. Remember, jobs report Friday morning, and we'll talk about it on Friday afternoon. Everyone, have a great evening, and I will see you on Friday. Bye.